Hello and welcome. There have been violent protests on the streets of the US city of Milwaukee after a man was shot dead in a police chase on Saturday. Around 100 people had gathered to protest the killing of the man, who police said was armed with a stolen handgun. These pictures from the scene show a fuel station and several vehicles on fire and some officers in riot gear. One police officer was hit on the head when a brick was thrown through a squad car window. A number of deaths of black men at the hands of the police has sparked nationwide protest movements. Details are yet to emerge about what led to the fatal shooting. Well, I spoke to Eric Brooks, he's news director for WTMJ Radio, about the circumstances surrounding the fatal shooting.
The Milwaukee officer that shot and killed the suspect was earlier this afternoon at about 3:30. Had a lot of people congregating in the area, but of course, as the sun went down, things started to get more violent as the night has gone on, and still a very active scene right now. Lots of officers in the area, as you mentioned, in riot gear. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett actually speaking with the media right now as we speak, giving an update. It seems, as we hope things are starting to wind down again, things still burning in that part of town, and lots of people still congregated and moving in and out of the area that we're seeing the disturbances in.
Absolutely. We're hearing numbers of around 100 people against 20 or 30 police officers, police cars being set on fire, and one officer being struck in the head by a brick. Yeah,
and that's really just the tip of the iceberg. We have a cop car that was, some of the windows were broken and set on fire. We also have a gas station that was set on fire, and it looks like right now a bank that was set on fire as well that firefighters are trying to put out. We also have reports of journalists in the area that are saying that they were thrown to the ground and kicked at some point. Also, a television truck. We heard that some of the rioters were shaking that truck as some of the journalists tried to get into the area to cover the event. So at least our television partners that are there in the area right now, we're working with them as they work their way back out of the area just for their own safety.
And of course, the shooting that sparked all this violence and tension occurred earlier in the afternoon. How common is this type of thing in Milwaukee? I know that obviously police shootings have been very high on the news agenda around the states, but how common is this in the city that you live in?
Milwaukee is one of those cities where surrounding the city with the suburbs don't see a lot of crime, but certainly in the city, it flares up from time to time. Milwaukee has had a relatively violent year compared to years past, and I know the police department is hard at work trying to combat that. Certainly things like this do not help, relations between the police department and the community. But, you look at, as you mentioned, things that are happening around the states, and as those things continue to happen week after week after week, each time they happen, it really sets in motion some dangerous events, and we really have to be careful about those relations between police departments and communities all around the United States.
Well, police in New York say an imam has been shot